Look, so I just covered this on my show. Totally understandable legal maneuver. Of course, you're going to try to get your clients dismissed from the lawsuit. So we're seeing that from Leslie Sloan. We're seeing that from Ryan Reynolds. But when you read into his lawsuit, it's really fascinating to see how there's two courts that are playing out right now, and both of them have a lot of significance in their life. Lively, because she appeared at her Simple Favor 2 premiere, and people are noting that she seems increasingly uncomfortable and anxious, and maybe it really...
Everyone's been glued to this lawsuit. It's the season finale of their favorite drama. Every twist, every turn, sparking debates, hot takes, and wild predictions. People are picking sides, dissecting every tiny detail, and trying to guess what's coming next. So when Ryan Reynolds made his latest move, no one was exactly shocked. His legal team swooped in and filed to get him dropped from the case. A textbook celebrity tactic. The message: keep me out of this mess. And honestly, who could blame him? But the deeper people dig, the clearer it gets. This isn't just one legal battle. It's two very different fights unfolding at the same time.
Accusations between Hollywood power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and actor and director Justin Baldoni. The plot of this lawsuit is actually more interesting, I believe, than the film that they made.
Was trying to quietly slip out of the defamation mess with his latest dismissal request. His angle, it was all just satire, nothing serious, and therefore fully protected under the law. Honestly, not the worst defense. Satire has its own little safe zone in legal circles, and courts have backed it before, especially when the content is clearly exaggerated or meant as social commentary. If his legal team could convince the judge that his words fell into that category, they might actually pull it off. No defamation, no case, no problem. But of course, that's easier said than done. The real question was whether the court would buy the satire argument or see straight through it and let the lawsuit move full speed ahead.
Would like to be excluded from Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. On March 18th, the Deadpool actor, who shares 4 kids with wife Blake Lively, filed a motion with a New York court asking to be dismissed from the $400 million civil extortion and defamation complaint the It Ends With Us director and co-star had submitted in response to Lively's sexual harassment and retaliation lawsuit against him.
The real complication was that defamation was just one part of the lawsuit. Threat, and the one satire couldn't shield, was the extortion claim. That allegation had nothing to do with jokes or commentary. It was serious, with real legal weight and potential criminal consequences. Even if Ryan managed to dodge the defamation charges, the extortion piece could still pull him right back into the spotlight. There was no clever legal spin that could make that one disappear. No matter how hard he tried to step back, there was no clean exit. And everyone watching knew this legal battle was just getting started.
The business interference claims lack merit, although it was kind of a weak... if the standard for dismissing a claim is that they are more likely to proceed or succeed on their merits, and that there's no triable issues of facts that a reasonable jury could find in favor of the other side.
This whole situation had already spiraled far beyond legal arguments. Now it was a full-blown public spectacle. Everyone had an opinion, and the internet was buzzing with theories. Some people backed Ryan, insisting he was just joking, and that the whole thing was blown out of proportion. Others were convinced there was something deeper going and that he was caught up in something much bigger. Regardless of what the court ultimately decided, Ryan's image was already taking damage. Every new twist brought more headlines, more online debates, and more public scrutiny. The longer the lawsuit dragged on, the worse it got for him. And there was no clean way out. His defense started to unravel the moment people took a closer look. He claimed there was no extortion because no money had changed hands. But that didn't match what the lawsuit actually alleged. The legal filing painted a much clearer picture. Ryan had supposedly threatened to expose sexual harassment claims, in an effort to help his wife gain control of a movie. That alone was enough to keep the case alive.
Has Blake Lively made allegations of sexual harassment against past employees or coworkers? And the answer is yes. She has made allegations about sexual harassment against a makeup artist, and it hasn't been confirmed on the set of what. However, if you look back and you look at the timeline, it seems to be on the set of Gossip Girl.
The situation was already a mess, and Ryan's defense wasn't doing much to clean it up. This wasn't just about whether he received a financial payoff. The real issue was the alleged attempt to pressure others using damaging information. Legally, extortion isn't limited to demanding money. It also covers threats used to manipulate someone into doing something they wouldn't normally agree to. In this case, the claim was that Ryan tried to shift control within the movie production by leveraging explosive accusations. That's not something a judge is likely to brush aside, but Ryan's biggest problem wasn't what had already happened. It was what was coming next. The lawsuit was still in its early stages, but once discovery began, things were bound to get a lot messier. Discovery meant both sides would have to hand over emails, texts, and any other relevant communication. That's where the real trouble could begin.
Information is such a plot twist. I am traveling right now, if you can't tell, but lucky for you guys, I never travel anywhere without my files. So let's go through the information together. I'm so excited, it's like Christmas morning. Okay, so the first major update is that Ryan Reynolds filed his motion to dismiss himself from the lawsuit, which is basically saying, Your Honor, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Please allow me to exit.
Because of all this, Ryan's connection to Hugh was starting to draw serious attention. People were beginning to dig deeper, questioning what their relationship and involvement really meant in the